welcome Richard Payne, inflictor of pain, or also known as Canary in the Mind. Welcome. And so you have swum the English Channel.
Yes.
You are exceptional with that story. You've written books and you are this mindset guru. You've got Canary of the Mind podcast. Can you tell us what made you do the podcast for these mining industries?
I like to change industries every 4 or 5 years. I'm fascinated by industry and how people think, and I've never tried mining. So I tried mining and said one day I'll do the mining work. And I was looking for a catch on a title or name, and there's a thing called a canary in the mine. So the canaries used to go down in the mine, and that was the only way miners could judge if there's oxygen in the mine.
Oh.
So I changed the word mine to mind, so canary in the mine. So is there oxygen in your mind? What's your canary singing to?
Oh, wow.
So if you know your canary is singing, you'll get something going really well. If your canary is not singing, what's happening to you? You go, tweet, 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 or brr, 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 brr. So, it's a sign of depression.
Well, because it's a hard industry, the mining industry.
Yeah.
They need someone like yourself, or they need that help there. Can I ask, so you're not just someone that goes there and, visits the miners, you're someone that works on the board.
Yeah. Well, I work in boards of companies to help them think about what are they doing. They're mining goods and for produce and for money, that's given. But how are they looking after their people? The burnout and the drivers and testing people is game on every day, to the point they're wearing their people out. Now, the problem is that people doing this to other people don't know the limitations of what people can do. They want all this to happen, but they've never done it themselves. And I can measure these people's where they are and their toughness, their weakness. Are they sustainable? Are they a flight risk? So they can manage their workforce better. And I advise mining companies. I'm on the board of doing that, and I help CEOs about their mindset, the importance of reaching out and connecting to people. That the word hello really means something.
Wow. Okay, reaching out to people as part of strategy to help these companies, these workers thrive, is connection and saying hello.
Yeah, they're in mines, they're in machines. They don't talk to anyone. They might have some background music going on, but they're not talking to anyone. And by the time they need to talk to someone, they've done a 12-hour shift, 14 days in a row. So they're not talking about footy, relationships, intimacy, what's going on in the world. They've got their head in a mine, then they've got their head in a truck, then they've got their heads in a rail truck. So they're getting paid a lot of money to suck this up, but each day they do it, their mindset's not liberating and is not driven to the place they should be. They're not healthy people at the end. They're not healthy people. They're not giving, their heart in the game has left them, and now they're just in a process, which means at times life becomes meaningless.
And you're saying, do you help them to find ways to find meaning and purpose and connection? Yeah.
Whatever you're doing today has got to lead to purpose.
Yeah.
Now, the word purpose, and the French word for purpose, the origins from many years ago, is what do you propose to do? That's what it means. What do you propose to do? But a lot of people don't know that. They go to work, but what do they propose to do? What does it all mean, working the mines today? Where will it take you? Now, if you've got no meaning to the outcome, to the exit, what will happen to your mental health? So there's got to be a purpose. When I wrote my book many years ago in COVID, the book was called Repurpose Your Life. So a lot of people go through their phases of purpose, but a lot of people don't know how to reignite a repurpose.
A lot of people don't know, let me just reiterate that.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know how to rephrase their purpose, recreate themselves.
That's right, yes.
And their purpose.
Yeah, they're good at one thing, they're good at their passion, and the passion does run out. It does. As we get older, our bodies change, our mind changes, our debts change, our bills change. Are we living life the way we could? Yes, we love working to make money, but who are we as a product of all this? I'm very interested in that, in their exit strategy to their new purpose.
Who are we at the end of doing all this? Because really, at the end of the day, if they can find that purpose, then they'll want to go to work, they'll do better work, they'll feel like they'll want to be there for longer, and then that's a win-win for everyone.
If they know what today means for tomorrow, you've got a great chance of a great employee. A lot of people go to the mines to make money, but also wrecks their relationships. They're away from home for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
So health does drop. Yes, they have medical people, but the people there, yes, they kind of do care for the individual. And a lot of the managers don't know how to check the whites of the eyes. Are they really okay? Without even saying the word, are you okay? Can they really see it? A lot of people don't know that skill.
Yeah, and it's not their profession. Like, they've got all these standards and risks and, goals for the company that they have to achieve and well. And then, someone like yourself coming in there and being able to fill in that gap and really complete their mindset.
Yeah. Well, I help them. I help teach them what they never learned at university: psychology and understanding people, people's philosophy, the turn on of people, what gets them going. They only find out they don't know anything when they start their job and try and drive business values.
Yeah.
How to communicate, how to delegate with passion, how to delegate with your heart in the game.
How to delegate, like the workers, how to delegate?
Yeah, how to delegate. There's 6 forms of, 6 tools of delegation: persuasion, ask someone what's in it for them to do something, or help you with your own heart in the game so we can persuade someone to really do this well. There's confront, understand the reality between 2 people.
Yep.
There's assertive, how do you take control?
Yep.
How do you help them take control? The person delegates to, how do you help them take control? Not control them, but how they take their control. Then there's talk, which is dialogue. How do you create safe dialogue between 2 people? Rapport, which is the most important skill of all. Rapport, how to make it safe to connect with each other. How to understand each other. And the last one, listen. How do we listen? And a lot of people don't know the technique of asking listening-based questions. They don't know that technique. In other words, get the other person talking. If you're not asking listening-based questions, all you're doing is telling someone.
Yeah.
Which is a high disrespect.
Yeah, I think some people can find themselves like oversharing, or they're, thinking of themselves, which is, like naturally as humans, it's hard to sometimes sit back and listen, because we're just humans, but these are
There's
tools
so
that
much
we
going
can
on
learn.
in executives' mind. A lot of them haven't admitted to me privately. They've had to stop listening. Their head's so busy, but they don't ask listening-based questions to who they should be listening to. They want to be listened to, but who they should be listening to is the people doing the job.
That's right.
I don't know how many times I've heard upstairs don't know what they're talking about, because they're not listening to the people who are doing the work.
Why do you think they're not listening?
Because the executives do want to be respectful. I'm not going to knock them, they do want to speak, but they don't know how to ask listening-based questions. They don't know how to do the connection of rapport, the safe dialogue.
Yeah, they haven't been taught at school. Or...
They're good drivers of life. They drive things really well, but they'll miss things, and sometimes it could be someone's mental health.
Do you think it's just that's enough to be heard, like for these workers to be heard by the CEO?
The 6 communication tools is 101 communication. Just 101. If everyone just got 101 in their skill sets and their tool sets, they'd go a long way. I can help them be more sophisticated from there, that people will not have to ask for a job description, will not have to be asked to be told what to do. They'll just feel confident and safe they can do it themselves.
Wow. So like communication, you're talking about purpose, connection, like these are interesting values.
Yeah, but it's all 101 stuff. It's, as a species on the planet, we act like we don't need each other, but we're the only species on the planet that need each other.
Oh, 100%. Like tribes.
Yeah, we need each other. We
still need tribes, yeah.
But we act like we don't need each other. So that's one of our biggest faults. At school, we're trying to be clever at school versus inclusive. If you've ever read the philosophy from Eckhart Tolle, one of his great quotes is, "Cleverness divides, intelligence includes." At school, we're trying to be clever, not inclusive. If you want to be really intelligent and make the world work, be inclusive.
Yes.
That's when you need your communication tools. You want things to happen with others.
So rather than being competitive, be inclusive.
Yeah, clever is being competitive. It's showing how smart you are and
Yep.
not involving team.
Because team is stronger than
That's
an
right.
individual. A tribe is stronger than an individual.
That's right, exactly right, exactly right. But people miss that 101 of the 6 communication tools. And that creates a better mental health. So the person will feel understood, the deliverer of the message will feel better understood, and the receiver of the message will feel understood.
Wow. I know as an entrepreneur, we're always taught to, ride our own horse, and then, you look at your competition and we can't help but, compare ourselves to others, and then we want to do better secretly, but as soon as you learn how to work with other entrepreneurs and to learn from them and to work as a team, gosh, it feels good.
Yeah. That's a great point. I read a lot of philosophy, and I love reading philosophy. But one of the great quotes I did read was an Asian philosophy. The ancient Chinese word for work is, take your gift to the marketplace. Is everyone taking their gift to the marketplace? Yeah, you might be a geologist, a miner, a business engineer, or someone, no, but is it really in your heart what you're doing? What is your gift and what's the marketplace? A lot of people don't know what their gift is.
Yeah, they don't know their gift or their marketplace.
That's right. So I help people understand that. What's their gift?
Oh, priceless.
What are they extraordinary at? If you interview people what they really want to do, I spoke to a young lady yesterday that was coaching away, and she's bored, a high-level successful real estate agent. She just wants someone to combi van and go around Australia.
She wants out.
And she wants millions, but she'd rather be in a combi van. And it's not to get away, she'd just rather do that. That's in her heart. Here is real estate, and here the combi van is in her heart.
Interesting.
So if I can help executives and mining companies connect the goals a lot more, what they're trying to achieve, in a humanely respectful way, I'll get more results than they ever asked before.
And it's true, because I've worked with you myself, and it's just amazing. Like when you're stuck in something, you're stuck. Do you know what I mean? Like you can spend years and years trying to work it out for yourself, but then an expert like yourself comes in and makes all the difference. I mean, you make it happen.
I've even helped. I've probably created more divorces than marriages.
For a good reason, man. Good changes.
But I realised that other person's not in the game anymore. We're not in the game anymore. How do you articulate that? What's a safe way of articulating it? And be respectful the way through.
Oh, beautiful. Be respectful. Yeah, articulate.
So,
okay.
so it's all down to communication. What's in your heart? What do you really want to achieve? Your heart was there once, not there anymore. Okay, how do you declare that? In a safe, systematic way that the other person's going to win, you're going to win. And the same as the mining to employees. How is the world going to work? How is everyone going to be successful? And it's not even an idealism, it's a reality.
It's interesting how you work with relationships, like personal, business, how important that is for the success of
many years ago, I designed a thinking system about what successful people do and don't do. And it's a 400-question deep dive. I'll know more about you in 90 minutes, what's working, what's not working.
I have a question for you. You mentioned in your talks before that you are not your disease. Your disease does not define you. What does that mean?
When I was diagnosed with emphysema, and I'm not a smoker.
Yeah. Passive smoke.
Yeah, no, never a smoker. I've never smoked in my life.
Yeah, but other people smoke.
Yeah, this is my family's doing to me, and it hurt me because just before then, I was in a new relationship, close to a six-pack. Since then, I've put about 10, 12 kilos of weight. But also, I'm going to do the Yarra swim, 160k swim, to prove you are not your disease. Yes, I have emphysema, and what can you do with emphysema? So not what emphysema will do to you, but what you can do with emphysema.
Wow.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm in the gym 5-6 times a week. I'm walking on the beach twice a week for 4 hours per session, and I swim sometimes between an hour and 3 hours a time. But I can't exacerbate myself, because if I exacerbate myself, the emphysema is winning. So I've worked out a deal with myself. If I do activity for 15 minutes and rest for 5 minutes, I can do the whole yard. It'll take about 6 to 10 days though.
6 to 10 days, 15 minutes on
Yep.
of doing swim or walk in
Yep.
the Yarra, and
Yep.
then 5 minutes off.
Yes. Then they'll give me enough breath without being exacerbated, breathless, just to do it. But the challenge is, while I'm training for it, for every month I train, I lose 0.5% of fitness every month.
Yes, that was my next question. So you were saying in your interviews that you get, the more you train, the more unfit you get.
Yes.
Because of the condition.
Yes.
Now that's a really hard concept to grasp for a lot of people. I mean, it's hard enough to have a disease or disability or something like that, but then to be training or to be doing something healthy, and it's still taking
You're
us
going backwards.
backwards.
I can be physically strong, that's okay,
Okay.
but I need my breath for the walking and for the swimming. That's why I've got to do 15 minutes, 15 minutes on, 5 minutes off. That knowing that each time I train, my breath is getting shorter. Now I'm doing a lot of hypoxic work to build my lungs and lung tubes up, but I know at the end of the month, I'm not as fit as I was at the beginning of the month.
Would you get fitter by the end of the year, or by?
No.
Or can you manage it? Like, could you sustain it?
I can manage it with the drugs from the hospital, what they're giving me. I've got to manage it mentally, and I've got to manage it via hypoxic work. Whatever capacity I have left, hypoxic work is strengthening your bronchial tubes and your lungs. I can do that. Right? The hospital notice I'm doing hypoxic work. They can see my lung function results. Okay, so they know I'm holding ground. If I didn't do the hypoxic work, or the gym, or the swimming, or the walking, they'll see a more decline in what I'm doing. So they're ecstatic that I'm keeping on top of it, but still losing 0.5% per month.
So it's like you're just managing it, but you've got all this work that you have to do just to manage it, and at times you won't notice the results that your body used to show.
So I have no idea I'm going to achieve this one. I still have no idea I can do this. So, but finishing it has nothing to do with training for it. I know I've got a team of people to help me get through. I'm not breaking world records. I'm just going to be the first person to do it. But also knowing that everything I do every day is not going to serve me towards the getting the results. I know it already. So my mind said, no, the emphysema will win eventually. Okay, but it doesn't stop me from swimming the Yarra though. So in the book I'm writing right now, I'm writing a chapter on the inflatable bopper. Those toys you hit, they bounce back up again.
Okay. Yes.
So that's been hit 1,000 times, right? And my inflatable bopper keeps bouncing up all the time. So when I heard emphysema, the inflatable bopper said, "Oh well, we took another hit, Richard. Let's bounce up again."
How many times did that happen a day?
Wow, safely 20 to 30 times. Boing, 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 boing.
Do you let it sometimes just...
Now, I have to let it deflate sometimes and not get up and have a rest. Have a mental rest, because I know I'm deeply challenged, and it hurts. I'm still human, and I get angry, but I have a plan for my angriness, and the best thing for my angriness is go to the gym or do my 4-hour walk on the sand. Because what I'm looking for when I do the 4-hour walk on the sand, particularly, I'm looking for 2 states to be in. The 2 states I'm training for is my meditative state, how to be quiet in my head, and my tempo. Now, the 4 hours of walking on the sand and in the water, I want to think about nothing. I don't want to think about emphysema. I don't want to think about training. I don't want to think about anything. And the best thing about this mental toughness thing, the best way you can get into your mental toughness approach is be in a meditative state and think about nothing. I want to get into a meditative state. That's the secret of swimming the Yarra. The quicker I can get into a meditative state, and what will complement the meditative state is tempo of my body. What can my body do to swim the Yarra? So I get the meditative state right and my tempo right, I can beat the challenge of emphysema for 10 days. And the training, absolutely. I know I have beaten it in training already. It doesn't say it goes away, but my mindset's strong and my body tempo is right. It understands the emphysema. It knows how do I use emphysema. How do I get tempo right? How do I get my meditative state right? And that's the most important thing.
Meditative state for emphysema.
Yeah.
For those people that don't understand what emphysema is, how would you
It's the damage of the lungs, it's scarring of the lungs, starting from multiple infections and from smoking or fires. If you open the fires, what it does, it scars the lungs, the bronchial tubes. And the scarring just keeps mounting and mounting and then producing into the bronchial tubes, and you don't have the airway capacity that you'd like to have. And the scarring has a life of its own. It keeps building in your tubes, in your bronchial tubes.
It keeps building.
That's what kills you, is the emphysema is a scarring process. And it'll just keep scarring all the way to the top until the lungs implode. So I know it's going to happen, but I can't complete the year unless I understand my emphysema with its tempo and meditative state. So the three have got to work together.
You're amazing. That's just so incredible to see that someone can manage, not only manage, but do what they want to do, no matter what is going on.
Yep. So I'm not complaining about emphysema. If I complain about emphysema, it'll defeat me. So what I've got to build and produce and have purpose for is my mindset, which is the meditative state, and the tempo with the body and mind working together.
So you're practicing this daily?
Yes.
Weekly, daily?
Yes.
And then, like any result or any competition, what we practice can come into play.
Yeah. It's interesting when I walk on the beach for 4 hours, and then I've been doing it in winter. I want to know how blue my feet get in the cold. That means circulation. That means my body wants to survive to stay warm. But I'm deliberately putting in cold sand and cold water. What it tells me, my body is functioning. My feet are blue.
Wow.
It takes 2 hours for the blueness to go out of my feet after training.
Well, it's doing what it needs to do.
That's right.
It's protecting.
So it's telling me my body wants to survive this.
And that tells you,
yes,
that reminds you,
I can do this.
Wow.
So the bluer my feet get, the happier I am. It's blue. I'm not sure what blue we got here today, but it's blue.
Well, because they're cold and...
It's cold. But my body's surviving. It's coping with all the mechanisms I'm throwing at it, all the challenges I'm throwing at it. I know how many people could walk on cold sand for 4 hours, or cold sand and walk in a foot of water for 4 hours. But I don't even feel the pain of the coldness because I'm in my meditative state and I know my tempo's got to get right.
Is that similar to what Tony Robbins does with people walking on the
Yeah,
fire?
I've done the walking on fire.
Yeah.
I scalded my little toe. That was okay.
Survive that one. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, so for my joke, I call it the tow truck. That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, that's part of the condition of my life. My deafness, my leaving school early. When you're deaf, you've got to observe people because you can't hear them. So you have to use your other senses of life. Yep. So when I'm helping communication, when you're observing, you also realise what people aren't doing with their communication. When I'm observing, I can go into my meditative state. I can wash it all away.
So that meditative state helps you to, what would you say that meditative state does for you?
For me, it quietens my mind. It gets rid of all the noise, all my complaints, my anger, whatever it is I need to take. Some people do meditation. I do meditation via walking on the beach.
So you do like a meditative state?
Yeah.
During walking.
I switch off. I don't even know how far I walked. And I don't want to know the measurement. Most people say, I'm going to walk 14 kilometres in the Santo. I don't want to know that. I want to know for 4 hours, did I switch off?
Whoa.
So when I expect in the year I'll be moving for 8 to 10 hours a day. I don't want to know how far I travel. It doesn't interest me. I want to know that I thought of nothing for 8 hours a day. I want it to be quiet and calm and no noise.
Is thinking nothing like being present with, like, let's say you're out on a walk on the beach, you're smelling the sea breeze, you're noticing, like you're tapping into your senses. Like, is that a way of being nothing, or does it need to be like no thoughts at all?
Well, it's a great question. One, I've got to physically build my legs up, and sand walking is the way to do it. Walking around the streets and runners won't help me walk the first 60 k's of the year. Sand walking is building my glutes and my quads up and my ankles. There's no real exercise that will build your ankles. So that I know is good for me. But I do know I'm on the beach. The ions of the water. I'm in and with the ions of the water. Every now and then I'll just emerge and get cold and make sure that my meditative state is not allowing myself to get cold. Although I just had a dip in the cold water.
Okay.
I've got to fight it all the time. But I've got to accept. And one of the reasons why I walk in the sand is to get frustrated. We've all been to the beach and walked in the sand and lost balance, right? I want to do it for 4 hours. I want to be off balance and frustrated for 4 hours.
Okay, well, this is important because we're learning how to overcome, how to use meditation, because a meditative state to me sounds more doable than meditation. And we need it most with, going for a walk, like, or when we are in that state of frustration and anger. And so you on purpose do something knowing that you're going to get frustrated, knowing yourself, having that
I'll
compassion
wobble for
awareness.
balance in the sand. I'll wobble. And many times it's slippery.
And that
But I want to do it. I have to do it, because if I'm in the Yarra and I get frustrated, I've got to know it's just a frustration.
Is that like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable?
Yeah. And my ankle's strong. And in the Yarra, there's sinkholes. You fall down sinkholes which you can't see. It's quite dangerous. There's rocks under the water you can't see. So I'm taking a stick.
Sinkholes?
Yeah.
Like you could sink in quicksand?
Sink in, yeah. You can go down 2 or 3 feet.
How would you get out?
I've got to hop.
Apparently in quicksand you can lay backwards.
It's the reason why I'm taking the stick, so I can point.
Okay.
The stick is they're my eyes. I can point and jab where the rocks are and the sinkholes are. And so I'm learning how to use a broomstick. My friend, Mr. Oates, the broomstick.
Your friend, Mr.
Oates.
Okay.
The broom, Mr. Oates, do that. So I call him Mr. Oates. Come on, Mr. Oates, let's go for our walk. So I wear my Stetson and Mr. Oates is coming with me. But Mr. Oates is part of my meditative state. I've got the stick and I'm poking. I'm learning how to walk with the stick.
Are you guys being a team?
Yeah, Mr. Oates and I,
Mr. Oates, your meditative state, nature, challenge.
But when you said all that, well, I like the way you said that. That's not my disease. I have a disease. The disease is coming with me.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not fighting my disease. I've got to work out what my body can do with the disease.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So then that's why I can. Disease is starting to advise me what I can and can't do, but I start to work with what I can do, not what I can't do.
What you can do, noticing what you can do with the disease.
That's right, what I can do.
Not what you can't do.
So that means I'm not my disease.
Exactly.
I have to be as fresh as the first step of taking the Yarra to the last stroke at Port Melbourne. I have to be as fresh as. That was just a dream run.
Is that where it ends, in Port Melbourne?
Yeah, Port Melbourne, just before Williamstown Beach. So I'm looking forward to I'm not talking about my emphysema. I'm not talking about the challenger. You're a hero about the emphysema. I'm talking about the mind control, the tempo, and meditative state. That's the thing that'll get me through. Nothing else.
Do you do breathing?
Yeah, I do. In training, I do a hypoxic breathing. When I'm lifting weights or when I'm swimming, when I swim, I see how far I can still swim on one breath. And I'm still up to 15 metres, which is not bad.
So you recommend it, and you know to train your lungs.
The brain and the lungs have got to talk to each other.
Yes.
And once they're talking to each other, once you set the first trial, you think how tough it is. But once you really get going, it's not tough. If the brain and the meditative state of the lungs are all combining together.
And your muscles too?
And muscles, yeah, as you know, the muscle needs oxygen.
Yeah.
So you've got to distribute the right amount of oxygen through your body. So when I'm holding my breath, I'm going to make sure all that air is going right through my body. That's where I get the energy from. Not even food, only the oxygen.
Yeah, the energy from the oxygen,
yes.
Maximizing.
Has to go through every nerve ending of my body.
Yeah. And you think about that? Like you use your mind?
Yeah, I distribute the air. I tell the air, today, next 10 minutes, you're going to fill the left lung of your body up. You're going to lift the upper quarter of your lung up. Next 10 minutes, you're going to fill the bottom half of your right lung. You're going to float with air in both lungs, the top of the lungs when you're horizontal. I tell the air where to go.
So powerful, conscious mind.
Because the river, the water is, river water is dead water. Ocean water is salt water. You float on salt water. In river water, you sink.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to have my lungs full all the time. So I've got to tell the air where to go to keep me afloat. If not, I'll sink.
What about the movement? But you still have to get the air.
Still the movement, but if my lungs aren't trained with my knowledge of oxygen distribution, I can keep my lungs to inflate my body flat all the way. If I don't, I'll be swimming like that. So I've got to distribute the air to my body proportionate to staying flat on the air.
It's a very particular distribution of air in your lungs.
So if I'm just thinking about my breath all the time, staying horizontal, what am I thinking about? I'm just thinking about breathing. I'm not thinking about swimming. I'm not thinking about the air. So I've got to distribute the air masterfully through my body.
Distribute the air masterfully.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
master.
Yes, I'm training for the air, but that's the real training. What I just said, that's the real training.
Wow.
Yes, I go to the gym. Yes, I walk on the sand. But how do I get the master of the air going through my body with emphysema? And tell the emphysema, you'll get your fair share of air as well.
While moving.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't give breathless. I don't look for my asthma sprays, my asthma treatment, my emphysema treatment. I've got to do it naturally as much as I can.
And that would be the best result that you could ask for.
Yes, that's right. If I can get my body horizontal for 10 days on the air, I've done my job. And I'm taking the effort out of doing the air. If you see me not talking to you in the air and you say, hey, Rich, I want a coffee, I'm not responding. I'm in a good place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We want you to be in that.
If you see this log called Richard going down the air swimming, he's in a good place.
Yeah.
You know he's breathing really well.
Absolutely.
So it takes a lot of passion, but my lungs are damaged, but it's the best way. If I am responsible how the air is distributed, not just breathing, it's distributing the air. Sometimes I'll make up a silly story. Come on, little toes, your turn to get air. Come on, you're kicking now. Start kicking. You've got some oxygen. Let's go.
You're funny. I mean...
Come on, pointer finger, your turn. You can dive in the water now. We can do some catch-up strokes. Come on, tongue, let's breathe.
People knew how much fun you guys had.
The body and I, we have jokes in the water about who's getting air next.
But you've got to be, like, that's fun. Like, that's priceless.
This is not a heart-wrenching event. I'm just trying to give the voice of people getting emphysema next and have emphysema now. There's a lot of things you control about yourself. There's a lot of things you can do.
Yes.
You're not beaten. If you can get more oxygen to your brain to think more, you're still a definite purpose on this planet. The more you can create this brain with breath and air, the more powerful you'll be. If you can take on the meditative state and the tempo, what you can do, you'll do champion things.
It's amazing. And what if you could leave for this episode a message?
A message
for those with disease or with emphysema.
As we start to get the theme of our meeting today, it is about you are not your disease. You could be anyone with a disease. I once read a long time ago that the head of the Quadriplegic Association in America is a quadriplegic. I love that.
Yes.
So that person became a purpose in what his body couldn't do, but he knew how to drive the business. I have emphysema. I know how to drive my purpose now.
You're living proof.
Yes.
You're the best case study.
Yeah.
You're a mentor, inspirator.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
A couple of breathing coaches are talking to me right now about they've heard this meditative state. What with the emphysema? I think I'm a nutter, and I said thank you. So that was good. So a lot of people come to talk to me about this state.
So you're not your disease.
Yeah.
And if you were, so with your stages of life, of fitness, so like to do this Yarra journey, which is 10 days, if not a few, more, because there's no race, there's no,
it's just
doesn't matter how long it
takes. A to B, that's it.
That's it. How many kilometres is it?
160.
160 kilometres. There's some parts that are more contaminated than others. So
from Reefton to Dights Falls, it's beautiful water. Beautiful water. It's from Dights Falls to Port Melbourne, it's contaminated water. So I've got to have 2 different types of wetsuits. The second part, I've got to wear a wetsuit where I get no water in my orifices at all. My mouth, other areas of my body, and I'm well protected, sealed, gaffer tape all over me. I look like a Martian, I will, because I have a big face goggle and 2 snorkels talking out there.
Good.
Yeah.
We're glad.
And I've got a doctor who will take me in the hospital for the night just to double check everything and drum vitamins into me or antibiotics.
Yeah.
So the self-care afterwards is very high. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what water will seep in.
And is that from the Alfred?
Yes. The Alfred, as in the Williamstown Hospital, said they'd try and help out.
Yes.
But the Alfred, because there is a division of the Alfred Hospital at Williamstown as well. So the emphysema clinic have been very good about what services I need. They're been very good.
And that's incredible. Not only you mastering, you are not your disease, you are just you doing you, like being amazing in so many things. I mean, you're not just training for this Yarra good cause for emphysema. You're also, helping mining industries. You're a speaker.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because you've overcome and done so much in your life. Like we're not going to cover all of it today, but you can certainly Google Richard Payne and follow him on LinkedIn. Like, what would you say has been your greatest mind shift in life?
My children being born was powerful. Was a real powerful thing. When I held my boy for the first time, I remember saying to him, I was a bit needy, a bit greedy when just after he was born, and his mother shouldn't cuddle him, but I wanted to cuddle him instead.
Naturally.
And then my baby, and I remember my wife at the time, and she called him, "Come here, little monkey," and he needed a feed. And then ever since then, the name Monkey is stuck. So my little monkey, who's now a 32-year-old doctor now. But I remember saying to him, when you get older in life, you be passionate. I realised I was talking to him. I wasn't talking to him.
Oh, you're talking to yourself.
So,
yeah.
How can I say to him, get passionate about your life, if I wasn't doing it?
That's right.
And he interviewed me 8 weeks ago. My boy's name is Jake, I call him Monkey. He asked me, Jake, Dad, what do you think you taught me? I said, mate, I didn't teach you education or structure. Your mother did that. But I think the gift I gave you was to be curious. And he said, Dad, you're 100% right. In my classroom, doing my doctorate, everyone says I'm curious. So that's the gift.
What a gift. Yeah, it is a gift, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest change I had to change.
And you had to change to...
Yeah, I'm deaf, chip on my shoulder about education and not being successful, but I had to change. I had to send a message to my boy. They loved how I swam the English Channel. In my silly game of golf, got a hole in one, my first game of golf. Had a boxing match at 56 on the Inflictor.
Yes, the Inflictor, the Inflictor Payne.
Did that. Now taking on radio. Now taking on. I keep finding things to do, and now I've got my 20-year life plan. with emphysema, how to help people who are dying. Actually, that's my next gig, how to help people who die. You know, how I realised that when people was doing a eulogy for you at a funeral, that's a biography. But if you can do your own eulogy before you die, that's an autobiography.
Yeah.
So that starts in September and October. I've got 25 guests. I've got 2 doctors coming on who know how to deliver end-of-life situations.
Yes.
I've got a couple of hospitals. We've got patients at palliative care.
Is this an event that's happening?
No, this is my radio event, interviewing people about to die, about them talking about their own eulogy.
Right.
Self-delivered.
Peninsula community.
Yeah, yeah. So it's another
Radio.
thing I'm doing. I've got mining. I'm communicating mining. I'm on boards.
Excellent.
I've got the Yarra coming up. Yeah, I'm an advisor of the IQ Club. I love being 70. I'm nearly 70. I love being 70 right now. I love it.
You're such joy. You're such an inspiration. I'm sure not only to your children, but to everyone around you, because you just show that life never stops. It just grows. It doesn't matter what happens to you.
I'm the perfect nutter.
Genetically,
I'm the perfect
environmentally. Yes. Well, you've got to be a nutter. You've got to be a little bit. Yeah. Well, I for myself, I love having
there's
fun.
Following rules, but there's following rules for to live. A lot of people follow rules not to live. I follow rules to live.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do. So if I can help anyone else do it, I'll do it.
Silly, yeah. And so your children through that gift of giving to your children, through having your children, you learnt to change, and that's
it was powerful.
It was
a big
always
change.
powerful.
I've been married to my wife at the time. She was a powerful lady. She supported my thinking and gave me some belief. What she taught me, I still remember the one line she said to me once. She knew I was frustrated. I wasn't successful at that stage. I was just drifting through life. And she said this powerful comment to me. She was holding my hand in the corner of New Street and Dendy Street, I recall that vividly. She said to me, Richard, universities will never teach you fast enough what you want to know. It took me about 2 weeks or 3 weeks to process that thing she said to me.
It's taking me a bit to process.
Yeah. So I realised I'm responsible for my education.
Yes.
And I committed to read a book a week for the rest of my life. I've done, so I've got that commitment. I'm 9 books behind.
Learning.
Each week I read a new book. No, I never read I never read the last chapter.
Really?
Never read. I don't want to know the answer.
I'm gonna be curious.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I might read it a year later, 2 years later.
And discover for yourself.
And I generally found I outshone the last chapter anyhow.
Okay.
So I don't want to know the ending. I do not want to know the ending. Because it has nothing to do with my life, that ending.
Yes.
So that's my ending I'm worried about.
Yeah, that you're interested
I love the tools, what they talk about, but I don't know the ending. Not interested.
You take what you want out of it?
Yes, exactly right.
Exactly.
The first, if there's 10 chapters, I'll just read the 9, then live and see what happens. But most people, if they read any type of self-development book, they live one chapter of that book, their life, they'll have a new life.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I love listening to audiobooks in the car, and I'll switch on and off, and I'll know the time that I switch on will be the lesson I need to learn.
Yeah.
And then with books, sometimes I even just choose a chapter, so a paragraph, like I'm just feeling so time poor or unmotivated, and then it's amazing how, like you said, it's just the right time, the right information that
I read the printed books, but I also got, like anyone else, I've got the audio books that you just shared, and I listen to 3 or 4 of those a day. I'm driving. I don't listen to news or music. I just listen.
You choose your program.
Just throw it at me. I don't know if I'm hearing it or listening to it. I don't know. And then sometimes when I say something to someone, I don't know where I got it from. I couldn't tell you where I got it from.
Yeah. I like to listen to audios with my son. Very selective with what what I listen to, because we can program our minds. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to have a chat.
Thank you for the opportunity too. Yep.
And we look forward to
be
hearing
continued.
about this amazing event and everything that comes with it. All right. Thank you, Richard Payne.